Jack Fuller meets Joy McNally in Vegas, where they're trying to blow off steam. After a drunken night which ends in their marriage, they need to stay together after they win the jackpot. Joy brings coffee for her fiancé, Mason, on his birthday. She has even made a dinner reservation to set a date for their wedding. When he taunts her for planning too much, she apologizes. But she's excited to meet him that night. Jack finds Kelly on his door dressed as a Girl Scout. Their role play soon ends in a hookup. She wants the keys to his apartment so she doesn't have to keep waiting outside in weird outfits. She has no intention of living with him, because she knows he's not boyfriend material. He's proud of being casual with her, and they plan to meet next week. Joy is a stockbroker who enters her office and exchanges a dirty look with her colleague, Chang. Jack is betting on a basketball game when his boss and father, Jack Sr., notices him. He tries to pretend like he's hard at work, but Jack Sr. fires him. Jack challenges him to a basketball game and claims he will accept defeat if he loses. His dad just wants him to be more responsible as the future owner of the company. To set an example, he makes sure to beat Jack in the game. He decides to cut Jack off completely till he learns a lesson. Joy is planning a surprise party at home for Mason. He has no idea, and her friend Tipper assures her she did not go overboard. Joy also hates Vegas, but she bought tickets for Mason and herself as a selfless gift to him. When he's about to arrive, she asks everyone to hide. She meets him outside the elevator, but Mason needs to share something urgent. When he comes back home tired from work, he needs the house to be an escape for him. Even if the sex is great, all her constant planning is driving him nuts. He breaks off their engagement and asks her to leave, since this is his apartment. Everyone starts coming out, and he understands how embarrassing this is. Jack is mad at his dad for firing him. His lawyer friend, Hader, isn't very good at his job, but he knows Jack needs to do something else to earn money. Tipper helps Joy get drunk at the bar where she works so she can vent about Mason. Tipper thinks they need to send people to Mason's place every week to punch him in his junk. Joy isn't ready to let go of her ring yet, but places it on the other hand. Jack thinks only Vegas can make him feel better. Tipper also reminds Joy about the tickets for Vegas, where she can go to be carefree and spontaneous. They all arrive in Vegas, where Tipper and Joy get checked into their rooms. The computers of the hotel aren't working, so Hader and Jack are asked to wait for a bit. They finally get a room, and Hader tries to enter the washroom. But he gets shocked to see Tipper there. Tipper hits him with pepper spray and both the women start beating him up. When Jack tries to intervene, Joy starts hitting him too. Jack clarifies that they have been assigned the same room by mistake. He knows they can get a free upgrade from the reception. Joy walks up to Curtis at the reception and intimidates him into giving them the penthouse suites. Jack wants to show off too, so he manages to get great upgrades. In their limo, Jack tries to bond with Joy about being from New York, but she is more concerned about going for their dinner. When they get out, Jack asks her to have one drink with him. Joy claims they have dinner reservations where they have to plan their tour schedule. When he taunts her about making plans about plans, which Mason also did, she gets offended. But he dares her to be fun and get a drink with him, and she can't say no. Joy shares that she came to Vegas to let loose like everyone else. Jack tries to pretend he's there for business, but soon gets honest. They both drink to getting fired and dumped, and share their true stories. Jack starts betting in the casino, but asks Joy to roll the dice. When she rolls a hard 8, they win and celebrate more. She takes a knife to show him a party trick about opening a bottle of champagne. This leads to more drinks and them sharing more personal things with each other. Joy starts being a lot more fun and drinks to everyone who has been fired and dumped. They keep party hopping where he realizes he can be very honest with her. She also thinks she is more fun with him. This leads to them hooking up. Joy wakes him to find a ring on her finger and a note from Jack addressing her as his wife. Hader knows he can't get divorced in Vegas and has to take an annulment where he lives. Joy asks Tipper why she didn't stop her from getting married, but Tipper was too drunk herself. They join the boys for breakfast, where Jack makes some marriage jokes. He joins her when she's playing with a machine. They discuss how fun last night was, and are relieved to know they both don't want to stay married. Jack thinks it's great because she seems like someone who is difficult to manage in a relationship. She gets offended and taunts him for not knowing what he's doing in his career. She thinks he should be ashamed even his father doesn't love him. He knows she can't handle criticism and taunts her too about being a robot. She gives him her card so he can email her about the annulment. But she also leaves a quarter, which he puts in the machine in frustration. As they both turn to leave, they realize Jack hit a triple jackpot. Joy is excited about the $3 million too, since he used her quarter for it. She tries to pose with him for the check, but he wants the full money. He reminds her his name is on the check, and he put the coin in and pulled the lever. But she thinks the money is hers too, because he used her quarter. She also happily reminds him they are still married, and she has rights over the money. Hader tries to get them annulled on the grounds that they knew each other for a few hours only. Joy is representing herself and shows them some evidence to prove their relationship is serious. She brings out a handwritten note on a tissue by him and a lovely picture of them. She also has a video of them, where Jack claims he will provide for her since they're married. They're both very drunk and so is Hader behind them. When Judge Whopper notices Hader, he claims he can't see the video properly. The judge doesn't like their generation and how casually they take marriage. He has been married for 25 years. He does everything to uphold his vows, even if his wife drives him crazy sometimes. He wants Jack and Joy to do everything to make their marriage work. Since Joy currently doesn't have a place to live, the judge orders them to live at Jack's place. He decides to freeze the entire jackpot amount for 6 months. They're supposed to stay with each other and attend weekly counseling sessions in that period. If they don't follow the court's rules, the judge promises to tie up their money in such a long litigation that they might never see it again. Hader and Tipper advise Jack and Joy to play along with the court's rules. After that, they will get to split the money equally as marital property. But Jack is frustrated about how bad a lawyer Hader is. They walk up to each other with the understanding that they have to try this out. Jack thinks she will get irritated by the weird things he does. But Joy knows holding out a long relationship will be harder for him than her. Hader asks them to think of it as a business arrangement, after which they each get $1.5 million. They shake on it and go their separate ways. As Tipper records, Joy brings her stuff to move in with Jack and gives him beer as gift to show that she's a great wife. Jack also promises to give her something and acts like he can't get enough of her. He picks her up to bring her inside. When Hader tries to flirt with Tipper and kiss her, she slaps him. Jack drops Joy in the middle of the living room. She is sure she can take up this challenge, but she gets the shock of her life when she notices hair all over the bathroom. Jack has specially saved it to annoy her. Tipper reminds her about the money before she gets to cleaning. Joy asks him to take the couch in the night and asks for the bedroom. He points to the door, which pops out of bed when she opens it. He enjoys that she hates the smell of the bed and keeps disinfecting it and herself. He sleeps peacefully, but wakes up to Joy making a smoothie loudly. She also takes her sweet time in the washroom. When she's changing, he comments on her boring lingerie and wonders why women stop making efforts. While she's working, her boss, Richard Banger, asks her and Chong to come upstairs. He is firing someone and wants to promote one of them. Joy tries to be polite with Chong, but she is very nasty to her. Joy and Jack arrive for their first counseling session. When Dr. Twitchell starts asking questions, Jack claims his only hobby is loving Joy and listening to her. Joy also claims she loves watching Jack all the time. She thinks most people might be repulsed by his dirty laundry, but she claims she loves it. Dr. Twitchell informs them she went to a good school and has many degrees, so their acting really won't work on her. She thinks if they want a good report, they need to start working on their marriage. She teaches him how the lid on the toilet seat goes down. But when she wakes up in the night, she finds the seat missing because Jack has taken it out. She tries to get back at him by spending more time in the washroom. When she's out for work, Jack and Hader take the whole door outside. When he's back, Jack claims they got robbed. Joy reminds herself of the money and tries to calm down. Jack is frustrated by how hard marriage is, and because he has not had sex in a long time. Hader already knows he is struggling, so he does some research. Tipper tells Joy about her plan B. She discusses her mother's third marriage to a wealthy man. Hader also tells him about a similar case, where the court wanted both parties to prove they are trying to make the marriage work. Tipper's mother knew she might not see the money, so she proved in court that he had been unfaithful. Hader also discusses how if he can prove Joy is not trying to make the marriage work, he can get all the money. Jack mixes something in Joy's smoothie in the morning to mess with her hormones. She is extra enthusiastic at the meeting, but Richard thinks that's the kind of spirit he wants from his employees. When she keeps feeling hot and irritated all day, she realizes something. When Jack is putting his dirty underwear in the middle of her bed, he hears the doorbell. 2 women claim they got locked out of their apartment and need to come in for a few hours. He's happy to let them in, but more girls come in after a while. He calls Hader to inform him he has a hot girl party in his living room with a pillow fight. Hader instantly knows it's a setup and thinks Joy might have figured out the same thing they did. Jack is now angry and wants to get back at her. When Joy comes back after work, she notices Jack sitting casually. His friends join them soon, and Joy thinks they need more girls to make this work. Jack cribs about how horrible his life has become, and his friend Dave promises to help him out. But when he looks at Joy, he thinks something is wrong with Jack, since she is gorgeous. Joy instructs the girls to do everything to seduce him and get him to sleep with them. Jack also asks all the men to ignore Joy, so it drives her crazy and she wants their irritation. Joy feels weird every man is ignoring her. When all the girls surround Jack, he wants to give in since he is horny. But Hader reminds him he can't give up now. When cops come to their door, they turn out to be strippers. Joy comes to the bathroom to get away from the madness and finds Jack there. He asks why she thinks he is dumb enough to cheat on her. She is sure it's only a matter of time, since he's not a relationship person. He knows this is hard on her too, since she's not over her ex yet. He knows only people still in love wear the engagement ring. She claims she is happier now, because she spent 4 years of trying to live up to Mason's idea of perfect. Even then, she was not good enough for him. She thinks she has overshared, but takes out her ring to prove her point. They're both determined to make this fake relationship work and reach the finish line. Things get too heated between them, but Jack steps away. During the next session, they start cribbing about how much the other person is annoying them. Dr. Twitchell thinks they finally sound like a real married couple. Dave suggests that they can kidnap Joy. Hader also suggests they can make it look like Joy gave him a disease. But Hader gets a better idea and starts beating him up. Jack doesn't understand what he's doing and hits him back. Jack arrives late for the next session and claims he fell and hit himself. When Dr. Twitchell doesn't buy it, he starts his sob story about how Joy beat him up when he didn't put down the toilet seat. Joy seems very relaxed and just shows them a video of his friends beating him up. Joy comes home one day and gets a call from Annette from Dr. Twitchell's office. But it's really Kelly helping Jack. She informs Joy that the session for that day has been postponed. Joy is taking a long shower when Jack tries to sneak something out of her bag. But she hears him leaving and notices him trying to get a taxi. She calls Dr. Twitchell directly to confirm if their session has been postponed. She informs her that if they don't arrive for the session that day, it will be considered contempt of court. She shoves Jack out of the way when he's trying to get a cab. But he calls and asks how she will pay for the cab since he stole her wallet. The driver still agrees to go, but they get stuck in traffic. When Jack overtakes them on his skateboard, she buys oranges to throw at him. She manages to take a bus, but he turns up there too. They keep fighting with each other as they run and climb walls to reach the therapy session. When they're inside and still fighting, Dr. Twitchell takes some notes. Jack hears some commotion inside the house and notices his parents sitting with Joy. She claims she wanted it to be a surprise. His dad thinks Jack should have told them about the wedding. They think Joy is a catch and are proud of him for settling down with her. When he takes her aside, she is excited about having his parents as character witnesses for her. He asks if they can keep pretending to be a couple, since his parents are finally happy with him. She agrees to do it if he gives the bathroom door back and keeps the toilet seat down. Inside, Joy starts praising his dad for teaching Jack so much about building furniture. But he finds a fault in the bar he has built. Joy continues to take a stand for Jack and thinks he can sell his furniture. His mother, Joan, also invites Joy for his Uncle Pat's birthday in the park. Jack thinks she shouldn't have gone after his family. He wants to mess with her too and finds the ring. He visits Mason and introduces himself as Joy's friend. He claims Joy threw it in the trash and wanted to give it back to him. When Mason wonders how she is, Jack starts buttering him up. He repeats what Joy mentioned about not thinking she's good enough for Mason. But Jack insists all those insecurities are gone now. He is sure Joy won't be available for too long, because so many guys are after her. When he's leaving, he makes sure to mention where they're having Uncle Pat's party the next day. Joy arrives at the party with Tipper and learns from Joan that Jack is coaching Little League. Jack brings his niece, Sammy Sosa, to meet Joy. Joan describes what Jack used to wear in school. Joy understands why he wanted to be Indiana Jones, because she loves the movie too. Hader and Tipper don't like that they're bonding. Sammy thinks Joy is much better than Jack described her, and feels like they should split the money and stay married. He explains that Sammy is the only one he can't keep secrets from, which makes Joy smile. He drops them off to the ladies' washroom. When they come out, she spots Mason there. He claims he is visiting some friends in Brooklyn. Jack comes out too when Mason offers to take her out for drinks. But she claims she is busy and can't do it next week either because of her retreat. He is amazed by how great she looks and hopes they can plan to meet later. Hader can tell Jack is falling for Joy and asks him to be careful. Richard isn't happy with her pending files. But when she mentions she had a thing with her husband, he gets curious. He informs her that she and Chong are tied for the promotion right now. Since Chong is bringing her husband to the retreat, he thinks Joy should bring hers too. Hader thinks Jack made a mistake by refusing to go on Joy's retreat. He wants Jack to go and pretend to be the perfect husband. He thinks when Jack has charmed everyone, he should get Joy to sign something. He draws up a document about relinquishing all her rights to the money. He thinks Jack can threaten to expose her to her colleagues if she doesn't agree. Jack doesn't want to play so dirty, but Hader reminds him this is their last shot before the hearing. Richard just met Chong's smart husband and wants to meet Joy's husband too. She hears Jack joking around with some people and points at him. Chong tries to thank Richard for everything, but he's not interested. Jack hugs Joy when she comes to him and he introduces her to the CFO and the board members of her company. When Richard introduces himself to Jack, he makes a joke about his name being Banger. Everyone nervously waits for his response, but Richard has a comeback and calls him Jack off. They hug because Richard already loves him and asks where Joy was hiding him till now. He asks Chong and her husband to move. Chong tries to butter him up again, but he's not impressed. Jack and Joy are the life of the retreat as they even win games together. Hader asks Jack to not be weak and get her to sign the document soon. When Joy makes an entrance that night, Jack can't get his eyes off her. All the guys check her out as she walks towards him. She compliments him for cleaning up well, and he likes that she wore her hair differently. Richard joins them for shots. When he notices Jack's tag reads, "Joy's bitch," she takes it out and puts it on Chong. Richard is more impressed by this move and didn't know she was so much fun. Jack backs her up and mentions the champagne trick from Vegas. Richard dares her to do it, and she impresses everyone. Richard feels like if he had seen this side of her before, he would have promoted her much sooner. They decide to play a game, but Jack doesn't want to risk the money. Joy assures him he has it under control, and asks him to bet on it. When he wins, he thanks her for pushing him. Richard gives the Team Spirit Award to Jack for being the funniest man he has met. As everyone cheers for him, he goes on stage and thanks Joy. He wants to tell everyone the story of how they met. Joy feels like he's about to say something wrong, but Jack changes his mind and claims it was meant to be when he met Joy. He also claims they were in a rush to get to their honeymoon suite, so they never got to have a first dance. He gestures the musicians to play something for them and asks her for a dance. People around them start clinking, and they know they expect a kiss. Joy assures him he doesn't have to do it, but Jack kisses her. They both get lost in the kiss and start enjoying themselves while dancing. He asks her to recall the last time she really felt happy. She remembers one day, which was much before she met Mason. She felt adventurous, so she took a ferry to a lighthouse on a beach. She stayed there by herself and felt truly happy. This was the time she didn't have any concerns or responsibilities. He remembers a photo of this place in their house. Jack also admits that he stopped dating because he didn't want to bet on something he will lose. But Joy assures him that she can bet on him. When they reach their room, things are more awkward because they are much nicer to each other. After preparing their separate beds, she asks him to undo her zipper. He notices her sexy lingerie, but helps her like a gentleman. They stay awake all night thinking about each other. When they're back, Joy notices Chang trying to open the bottle like she did. Jack has finally finished building something as his dad watches. When Joy is on the phone, Mason finds her. He wants her back and thinks he made a huge mistake by letting her go. He wants to make it up to her and gives her the ring back. When he also claims she is good enough for him, she knows that Jack must have spoken to him. Jack is happy to see her in court, but he can tell something is wrong with her. Judge Whopper asks Dr. Twitchell to give her opinion on how they followed court orders. She thinks they have a lot of issues individually, but are perfect as a couple. Hader announces that Joy spent some money in credit card debt, which is the same amount Jack spent for his new furniture business. He proposes a settlement where they both get half the amount. When Whopper asks if Joy agrees to the terms, she whispers something to her lawyer. Her lawyer claims Joy doesn't want any money and only wants the divorce. The judge grants the divorce and assigns all the money to Jack. Joy wants Jack to know he won, and she officially wants nothing from him. When she gives him the ring, he realizes why she is angry. Hader is just proud that he won a case and they celebrate at night. Dave asks for Joy's number from Jack because they're not together. Jack notices Joy's photo under the bed of the island she spoke about. Richard has decided to promote Joy, but she asks him to give it to Chang since she deserves it. She has no idea what she will do, but she doesn't want to continue doing something she's not happy about. Jack Sr. is proud of him for finishing a piece of furniture, but he is still mad at Jack for ruining things with Joy. He knows their marriage was fake, but he thinks they built a real relationship. He asks him to not let it go. Tipper informs Jack that Joy quit her job, shut her phone and disappeared somewhere. She wants to help Jack because somehow Joy can be herself with him, but she has no idea where she is. She asks what he would do if he wanted to be happy again. Jack thanks her and borrows a car from Dave to find Joy. He finally reaches the island with the lighthouse and spots her. He claims he came all the way there to give the photo back, but he also admits he was horrible to her during their marriage. It was still the best time he had. Because she bet on him, he now wants to bet on himself. He gets down on one knee and asks her to marry him again. Joy has tried to please people all her life. By not trying to please Jack, she knows she started feeling more like herself. She agrees to marry him, but is worried because she quit her job. Jack reminds her they now have a lot of money because of the jackpot. 6 months earlier, Jack and Joy get married in the church while Hader and Tipper hook up behind them. Mason hears the doorbell and gets punched by Tipper, who thinks he deserves it.